to increase the productivity, to enhance their efficiency and effectiveness, we need education, we need skill and a proper health. So that is called as human capital. Two things we are measuring here: as a percentage of total government expenditure. As government has expenditure, what is the output that we have got, and the percentage of GDP is explained here. So human beings, for the human development, for the human beneficial, for a healthy and a safety life, education is very important. Hello everybody, I'm your Divya ma'am, Assistant Professor from Department of Commerce and Management, lecturing with Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Mysuru, the Temple of Excellence. I take this opportunity to welcome you all for the session 4 on your chapter 4, that is your human capital formation in India. So in the last class, we have discussed about what is human capital, sources of human capital formation, what is expenditure on information, so how human capital is linked with economic development. So all these are the topics that we have discussed in the last class. Now we shall discuss about human capital and human development, state of human capital formation, growth in government expenditure on education, educational achievements in India, and the conclusion. So all these are the topics that we are discussing in today's class. Moving forward, human capital and human development. So it sounds similar, but it is different. So human capital is nothing but the human investment. What is human development? So developing them through the skills and the knowledge. So there is a distinct differences. So let us understand that. In two terms sound similar, but there's a clear distinction between them. There's a clear difference between them. Human capital consider education and health as a means to increase labor productivity. What is human capital? To increase the productivity, to enhance their efficiency and effectiveness, we need education, we need skill and a proper health. So that is called as human capital. Whereas human development is based on idea that education and health are integral to human well-being. So this human capital is all about the productivity. It's all about the work development, where in case of human development is solely depending on the development of human beings. So how well the personal growth, you can say. So how well the human beings can develop, how personally they can grow with in terms of education, in terms of health, how personally it will benefit them. That is human development. So human capital is in terms of productivity. You'll talk about the enhancing of productivity, but here in case of human development, you'll talk about the personal growth, personal hygiene, personal development. So it is all about the human well-being. Because only when people have the ability to read and write and the ability to lead a long and healthy life, they will be able to make the other choices which they value them. Why we are talking about the personal life? Why we are talking about the personal health and education? Because when they have a good sound mind, then only they can think well, then only they can value the other choices. When you are healthy, when you are educated, when you are happy for yourself, then you can work for the country. When you are not happy for yourself, when you are depressed, you're not interested in any other things. Similarly, with respect to human capital also, when you have to have a better capital formation in India, human development is essential. Human capital treats human beings as a means to an end, the end being the increasing the productivity. So human capital is all about thinking about productivity, enhancing productivity, how to increase their work. All these things is human capital. That's the difference between human capital and human development. Hope it is clear. Moving forward, state of human capital formation in India. What is the role of state in developing our human capital in our India. So we know that ours is a federal country with a union government and the state government and the local government. So ours is a federal system. What we are following is a federal system. We have state government, we have central government. At the local level, we have municipalities, village panchayats and municipal cooperations. Isn't this is how our state is working? This is how our country is working. So this is the structure of our country. So the constitution of our India mentions the functions to be carried out by the each level of the government. So a constitution of India, the rule have been given. So each government has to, each system has to function in a different rules and by the different rules and the regulations. Accordingly, expenditure on both education and health are to be carried out simultaneously by all the three tiers of the government. Similarly, the Constitution of India have given the rules and regulations. Similarly, the function, the role have to be played by the each system what we have mentioned. So everything have to be taken care by the specific rules and regulations. So as per the constitution law. So as they have mentioned here, the education level, so the education and the health also should be carried out simultaneously by all the three tiers at a different level. So we cannot reach the central level altogether. The central government initiatives is different, the state government initiatives is different. At a rural level, to help the people, we have municipal corporation. So as per this rules and regulation, as per the system function, the allocation of expenditure on your education and health to be followed by the all the three tier system. So that is what they are telling. Moving forward, in India, the ministers of education at a union and state level, department of education at a various organ, who looks after the education in our India? It is NCERT. So this is very important 1 mark question for you all. Who looks after the education in our India? It is our Minister of Education. Ministry of Education looks after. So that is your NCERT department. NCERT, National Council of Education, Research and Training, will look after your primary and secondary level of education. When it comes to your graduation, post-graduation, at your higher education, it is University Grant Commission will look after, and the All India Council of Technical Education, AICTE, is the facility. So these are the bodies, that is institution that is taken care of education in our India, which comes under education sector. Very important, you all have to note down. Moving forward, similarly, when it comes to health, similarly, ministries of health at the union and at the state level are departments of health and various organizations like Indian Council of Medical Research, very important. Indian Council for Medical Research facilitate institutions which come under the health sector. In a developing country like us, with a large section of the population living below the poverty line, it is the Indian Council for Medical Research is the governing institution, the institution which is looking after the health care. Moving forward, in a developing country like us, with a large section of poverty line, both union and the state government have been stopping up the expenditure in the sector over a few years, over the past few years, in order to fulfill the goal of education. So in order to fulfill, so we have a right to education. So Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. So it's a rule that minimum up to minimum 10th, it is every citizen, it is every child that is born in our India have to take compulsorily the education. So this is the rule that have been made by our government. So central and state government both all together, a system work together in order to develop our human capital formation in our India. So this is our country's situation, scenario about the education and our healthcare. Moving forward, growth in development, expenditure on education. What are the growth we can see? What is the changes we can see as we have invested on education, as we are investing on our healthcare so much? What is the growth? What is the impact in a stats that we can see in order to check our GDP, in order to check our national income? So that is what we are seeing now as a percentage of total government expenditure as a percentage of GDP. So two things we are measuring here as a percentage of total government expenditure. As government has expenditure, what is the output that we have got, and the percentage of GDP is explained here. So during 1952 to 2014, education expenditure as percentage of government increased from 7.2 to 15.7%, and as a percentage of GDP increased is 0.64 to 4.13. Earlier, they only invested 7.92% and they have increased the expenditure on education by 15.7%. What is the output that we have got? It has been increased by 4.13. So, this is the stats that they are showing. Next, moving forward, primary education takes a major share of total expenditure, takes off. Higher education, it is least. When we have to, the government is incurring lot of expenditure in providing primary education than the higher education. The per capita public expenditure on elementary education differs from high as rupees 34,651 in Himachal Pradesh to as low in 4,888 in Bihar. So we can see the changes that is there in from your country to country wise. This shows the difference in educational opportunities across the country. So we have different among the different countries as per the demographic situation, as per the demographic condition, the education, the population, the poverty, everything depends on. So this is what they are saying. So in Bihar, when compared to Bihar and the other Himachal Pradesh, the education expenditure level was high and the output was also high when it compares to the underdeveloped state, that is Bihar. Moving forward, what are the educational achievements in India we can see once after we have introduced our lot of schemes that has been initiated by the government. Meanwhile, the government is expenditure more on education, more on health sector. What are the achievements that we can see? The first achievement, if we want to talk about, is adult literacy level. So the level of literacy, literate means the person who is able to read and write. So adult literacy rate have been increased. So there is a increase in the population. As increase in the population, people are also educated. So that is what adult literacy rate means. So we have achieved our adult literacy level. It is very high when it compares to the previous decade. Next, we want to talk about is primary education completion rate. We have achieved the primary education. So in the previous slide itself, I have explained you all about. So our government is expenditure more on primary education. The basis itself is not strong. The building will collapse. So keeping this in mind, the education system, the government is looking after the primary sector well. So we have achieved our primary education completion rate. Youth literacy rate. So most of the youth are literate in India today. So we have lot of MNCs coming up. So in next 5 years, 5,000 multinational companies will come into our particular states, particular cities. Tier 1 city, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, depending on that tier, depending on the facilities that is available and the demographic situation, the companies are coming up because of the literacy level, the literacy rate that we have increased through our education. Education for all is still not achieved. So still we have a rural people that is living. So still we have people who are living in the forest. Say we can see people people who live there, they are still in the mindset in their traditional generation itself. So that is also the reason, that is also one of the major reasons we can see in education still not achieved for everybody in today's world. The differences in literacy rate between male and female are narrowing. Earlier it was only for the males we were giving, now it is equal. We can see the difference in today's world. Both male and female is coming together, working towards the contribution of our economy. So there is no difference that we can see, much difference that we can see in today's world. Very less number of people are roaring the higher education level. So very less people we can see that who doesn't attend. Anybody, if you go and ask what is the next plan, we want to do masters, we want to do PhD. That is what they see. So all these are the benefits, all these are the motivation that we have got from the government, from our country altogether in pushing towards the development of our nation. To conclude the chapter with human capital formation in India, so we have already discussed so far. So let us conclude the chapter with few of the following points. Investment in education convert human beings into human capital. As I have told you, human capital, we have lot of human beings. If you want to invest them, if you want to turn them into a fruitful people, you need to invest on education. Human capital represents enhanced labor. If you are investing more on human beings, we have enhanced labor, the productivity is more, which is acquired ability and an output for the investment decision. So this also help in the future creating income to our country. Investment is education on the job training, health, education, information, migration, other sources of human capital formation. This we have already discussed. The concept of physical capital is the base for conceptualizing physical capital. We have a lot of resources, physical resources. We have turned them into raw material. So the basic principle itself is started from there. Why can't we use the human beings as a resources? So that is what they are telling. There are some similarities as well as dissimilarities between two forms of capital formation. We can see investment in capital formation is considered as an efficient and growth enhancing. On other hand, we are treating it as it increases the efficiency, it increases the growth, and it helps in better development of the other countries. On the other hand, human development treats people, it is an expenditure. On the other hand, it is an expenditure. It incurs lot cost to the people. That is what they are telling. So human beings, for the human development, for the human beneficial, for a healthy and a safety life, education is very important. The percentage of expenditure on education of the total government expenditure indicates the importance of education in the schemes of things from the government what is coming up. So how can we say that it is important? The schemes that is coming up from the government and the GDP rate which we have compared, that all shows how important are people to be educated. So that's it, my dear students. Smile is the biggest jewel you can wear, people. Keep smiling. Thank you.